Workshop, the heroes and villains of Shakespeare. Today, we will be exploring the good and bad forces within Shakespeare's plays. I'm Summit Sarah, let's get started. William Shakespeare was a playwright, actor, and poet who lived over 450 years ago. He worked in London, England at a place called the Globe Theatre. It was there he worked with a company of actors who would perform the plays he wrote. All of Shakespeare's plays feature what is called a protagonist. Now, the protagonist is the main character. This is typically the person that we cheer on throughout the play. You can also think of them as the hero of the story. Shakespeare's plays also feature the antagonist. The antagonist is someone who is opposing or actively fighting against the protagonist. You can think of them as the villain of the story. Sometimes it is very clear in Shakespeare's plays who the heroes and who the villains are. For example, in Othello is the hero, while Iago is clearly the villain. In Much Ado About Nothing, Claudio is the hero, and Don John is the villain. But in some of Shakespeare's other plays, it gets a little tricky. For instance, in King Lear, Lear is the main character, but he's also kind of a villain. Like in life, it's not always clear in Shakespeare's plays who is good and who is bad, because people experience a whole range of emotions and circumstances that can alter their character traits. Let's brainstorm some character traits of heroes and villains together. Think about your favorite superhero movies. Think about what it means to be a hero. When I think of a hero, I think of someone who is brave, selfless, kind, who goes above and beyond to do what's right. There are also heroes in our daily lives as well. Who is a hero in your life, and what makes them so? For me, a hero of mine is my friend Kat. She's an ER nurse, which means she spends every day helping people. She's also an artist and is one of the most generous and open-hearted people that I know. Something else to think about is, why are heroes important? Well, for starters, they can be an example for us. They inspire us to be the best possible versions of ourselves. And they also make us feel a little bit less lonely, because when we see a hero struggle to overcome hardships or obstacles, it makes us feel a little bit better, because we all know what that feels like. Now let's think about what it means to be a villain. What are some villainous characteristics? When I think of a villain, I think of somebody who is dishonest, manipulative, selfish, who doesn't care if they hurt other people as long as they get what they want. And while villains are bad, they can be kind of fun to watch and to play. So why do we enjoy having villains in stories so much? One reason might be because they provide more drama, they challenge us to be better, and oftentimes they can be funny. Something else to consider is, what can we learn from villain characters in stories? Well, we might learn patience, compassion even. We learn that our actions have consequences. We might also learn the importance of friendship and sacrifice. Shakespeare wrote some really bold villains and heroes. And now, we're gonna try and become some of those characters with Summit AJ. Hey AJ!
Thanks, Summit Sarah. I'm Summit AJ, and I am excited to go through the character walk with you. So let's get started. Now, for this activity, you're gonna need a lot of room. So if you haven't gone outside already, this is a really good time to do so. You're gonna want a lot of space so that you can move around and use your whole body. So let's start doing that, using our whole body. Let's start walking around whatever space you're in, whatever space you're using, just like you would normally walk around. And take this time to sort of think about, how do you walk? When you walk, do you walk fast or slow? Are you quick? Or are you just kind of like moving around a little bit? What part of your body do you lead with? You could lead with your head. That would be interesting. Or maybe your chest. Maybe your chest is out a lot when you walk, but just however you walk. You don't need to be a character right now. You could just kind of be yourself. Now, let's change it up a little bit, and instead of walking like ourselves, let's walk like a superhero. Yeah. How does that change how you walk? Think about a superhero. And there's a lot of different kinds of superheroes, right? You could be someone big and strong and powerful, like Captain America or the Hulk, or Or you could be someone quick and kind of agile. Maybe you're more like Spider-Man, right? Maybe you can do flips and jumps and stuff. How does that change how you walk? Think about the different ways, maybe how tall you are or how short you are. Maybe how quickly you move or how slowly you move. Maybe about the different parts of your body. Maybe your superhero's shoulders are really wide and that changes how your arms swing as you walk. Just take a minute to walk around the space. Think about your superhero walk. Maybe think about your cape flowing out behind you. Makes you feel powerful and cool. Now, a lot of superheroes, they don't just walk around town just hanging out. A lot of superheroes have big things on their minds. So what if you were a superhero who had something that you knew, like a secret that no one else knew? How would that change how you walk? You're still powerful or super, but maybe you're a little confused, a little concerned. You don't want anyone else to know what you're thinking, so maybe you're kind of hiding a little bit. You're going a little further away from other people, or maybe you're trying to make yourself kind of small. Shh, I don't want anyone to find out what I know. What if you're a superhero who has to do something big and important, save the day, but you're not sure that you can do it? How would that change how you act? Maybe you're still trying to be nice and strong for everyone, but inside you're feeling a little scared. You're just not sure if you can do the thing, but you still want to make sure that people think you can. You're gonna walk around big and strong, but inside you're feeling a little scared, you know? Yeah, we all do sometimes. All right, that was great. Now shake that off, let all the superhero go, and now, instead of a superhero, how about being a supervillain? Yeah, how would that change things? And once again, like with heroes, there's a lot of different supervillains. You can be a really mean, fighty villain. You can be, ready to fight someone, or you can be someone really sneaky. You can be ready to make some schemes and fight people with your mind instead. So walk around now as a supervillain instead, and think again, how does that change how you walk? Maybe you're walking slow because you're thinking about all your evil schemes. Maybe you're running around really fast and you're just ready to fight everybody. Just think about how that would change how you walk. And now, as a supervillain, think about trying to instead pretend that you're good. Think about trying to fool people. You're a supervillain, but you're trying to pretend that you're not a supervillain. So maybe you walk around kind of like a superhero, but you're just not that good at it. You're hiding a little bit. You're a little nervous. Maybe people are gonna find out that I'm actually secretly evil. Think about how you would hide that secret personality that you can't let anybody else know about and keep it all deep inside. Now imagine that as a supervillain, you're not trying to hide something inside yourself, but rather you're trying to hide yourself. You're trying to not get caught by the hero. Maybe your supervillain plan didn't exactly go like planned. I mean, sometimes things fall apart, right? So you're trying to hide a little bit. How would you hide? Still be evil, still be mean, but hide. Maybe you make yourself really small. Maybe you don't want anybody to see you, or you try to pretend you're a tree. Maybe I'm a tree. No. Listen, all you got to do is think about trying to hide yourself as a supervillain, so that nobody catches you and you don't go to jail for your evil deeds. Good. All right. Now shake that off. Let all that supervillain go. And instead, let's talk about some heroes and villains from Shakespeare's own plays. See, a lot of Shakespeare's plays talk about royalty, kings and queens and such. So maybe you're someone who's royal. Maybe you're a king or a queen, and maybe you're a hero king or a queen. Someone like Henry V, someone who's a powerful warrior or a good ruler of their people. How does that change how you walk? I notice that I'm still walking a little bit like a superhero, right? But I'm a little bit more normal, right? Maybe I'm not exactly all that super powered, but I'm still a good king. I still care deeply for my people. Now, there are a lot of Shakespeare plays where there are good kings and queens, powerful royal characters who have some friends or maybe some people who work for them who don't have the best intentions. These are the people that are trying to overthrow them, and sometimes they succeed. So how would you act like someone who's trying to overthrow the king and steal power for themselves? This is the time that you can be evil and sneaky and really let all of that evil out. Maybe, once again, you're trying to hide. You're not ready to do it yet, so you want to be a little bit secretive about it, but really, you're going to overthrow the king and take his crown for yourself. But not yet, so you're still keeping it quiet. How do you change your body? Maybe you get nice and low. Maybe you move really slow. Maybe you're really normal looking. Maybe you're just trying to avoid detection. You're trying to pretend like everything's fine, but it's really not. All right, great. Now think about fairies. Fairies are fun characters in Shakespeare because a lot of the time they're good, but they're still kind of mischievous, They're heroes, but they're not like Superman heroes. They're a little more complicated than that. How would you play a fun fairy? Fairies have a lot of energy. They're always running and jumping around. Maybe your fairy has wings. Maybe you can fly, or maybe you're just someone who's really good at blending into nature. Maybe you're just kind of a creature of nature. Think about how you would be a fairy and how that changes how your body moves. A lot of the time fairies are a lot more fluid, a lot less rigid and upright. They're fun and mischievous, and they don't really move like humans do. Good. Now, finally, a lot of Shakespeare plays have magic and magic users in them, and sometimes they're good, but a lot of the time they don't exactly help out our heroes. So what if you were an evil sorcerer in a Shakespeare play? Think about maybe having a flowing robe and a beard, or maybe you're a witch and you have a pointy hat. You have a staff. Can you conjure storms from the air? Can you make lightning strike? Can you create thunder? How would you express your magical powers to the world? All right, very good. Now we have been a number of Shakespearean hero and villain characters, so I think it's time to put your true acting skills to the test with Summit Cole.
Thanks, AJ. I'm Summit Cole. Let's get started. By now, you know all about heroes and villains, and you've even acted those characters out. So now, it's time to add in some of Shakespeare's words to create a scene. We have two options for you, a hero and a villain. Let's start with the hero first. For our hero, we're going to turn to Shakespeare's historical play, Henry V. King Henry is a young, new king that gets himself into a war with France because of his pride and because the Prince of France insulted him. He and his soldiers are having a hard time. They don't have enough men, they don't have enough supplies, and they're about to fight a battle with an army about 20 times larger than theirs. Henry has to lead his team and inspire his men to keep fighting, and he does so with this speech. He says, "Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide. Hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noblest English, whose blood is fet from fathers of war-proof. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George." Now, if you don't want to be a hero, you could be a villain. And for our villain, we're going to look at Shakespeare's tragedy, Hamlet. Prince Hamlet is depressed. Having been summoned home to Denmark from school in Germany to attend his father's funeral, he is shocked to find his mother Gertrude already remarried. The queen has wed Hamlet's uncle, Claudius, the dead king's brother. Not long after the death of his father and the marriage of his mother and uncle, the ghost of King Hamlet appears to the prince and reveals that the king was killed by Claudius. Now, at this point in the play, Claudius is talking to the audience about the murder he committed and the guilt he feels over it. He says, "Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray can I not. Though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and, like a man double business bound, I stand and pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not enough rain in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. Bow, stubborn knees, and, heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well." Once you've decided if you want to be the hero, King Henry, or the villain, King Claudius, go ahead and figure out how you want to perform each piece of text. Both of these pieces have some fun imagery you could use. You could have one person read while others act it out, or you could read it and act out what is happening at the same time. The possibilities are endless. To help you out, we've attached a side-by-side paraphrase of each piece of text so you can be totally sure about what you're saying. And remember what we learned earlier. How can you show us you're a hero or a villain using your body language? When you're finished with your performance, you can record it and send it to us at info@summitplayerstheater.com. We would love to see what you come up with. I hope you've had fun playing with us today. You can keep following us for more no-bummer summer content to get you through the summer. Until next time, bye!